You don't have to fight every battle. You don't have to argue, prove your worth, or force people to see your value. The moment someone disrespects you, the moment they make you feel small, unworthy, or unseen, you have a choice. You can engage, waste your energy, and try to make them understand, or you can stay quiet and let karma do the talking. Silence is power. In a world where people react instantly to every insult, every slight, and every moment of disrespect, choosing to stay quiet is an act of strength. Most people believe that speaking up, arguing, or fighting back is the way to defend themselves. But in reality, reacting only gives more energy to the situation. When you respond to disrespect, you acknowledge it. You give the other person exactly what they want, your attention, your emotions, and your energy. But when you stay silent, you shift the power dynamic entirely. Suddenly, they are left with their own words, their own actions, and their own conscience. Silence forces people to sit with what they have done. When someone disrespects you and you do not react, they are left wondering why. They expect an argument, an outburst, or at least some form of response. But when none comes, they start questioning themselves. They begin to analyze what they said, wondering if they crossed a line, if they pushed too far, if they underestimated your strength. And that moment of reflection is often far more powerful than anything you could have said in response. Choosing silence does not mean weakness. It does not mean you are letting people walk over you. On the contrary, it shows immense control. It proves that you are in charge of your emotions, that you refuse to let someone else dictate your reactions. It takes more strength to walk away from a situation than to dive into it. When you remain silent, you show the other person that their words do not have the power to affect you. And when someone realizes they cannot shake you, they lose interest in trying. Silence also allows you to maintain your dignity. When people react emotionally, they often say things they later regret. In the heat of the moment, words are spoken that can escalate the situation rather than resolve it. But silence prevents that from happening. It keeps you from saying something that could be used against you. It gives you time to think, to process, and to decide the best course of action without being led by impulse. Beyond the immediate moment, silence has long-term effects. People remember those who react strongly, but they are even more intrigued by those who do not react at all. When someone disrespects you and you choose to stay quiet, they are left with only their own actions to reflect on. Over time, this can lead to guilt, regret, or even a newfound respect for you. More importantly, it teaches people that you will not entertain negativity. It sets a boundary without the need for confrontation. In every situation, the person who maintains control of their emotions holds the real power. Silence is not just about withholding words. It is about demonstrating confidence, self-respect, and emotional intelligence. It is about knowing when to engage and when to simply walk away, allowing your actions, your success, and eventually karma to do all the talking. People expect a reaction. When someone disrespects you, they are not just speaking words. They are testing boundaries. They want to see how much control they have over you. They want to provoke a response, whether it is anger, frustration, or even an attempt to justify yourself. And the moment you react, you give them exactly what they are looking for: power over your emotions. But when you choose not to react, when you stay silent and refuse to engage, you disrupt the entire pattern. You leave them with their own words, their own energy, and their own discomfort. Disrespect is often a tool people use to assert dominance. Some do it to make themselves feel superior, others do it because they thrive on drama, and some do it simply to see how much they can get away with. When you react emotionally, when you argue or try to explain your worth, you are playing into their game. You are allowing them to dictate the conversation, to pull you into a space where they control the narrative. But when you stay calm, when you give them nothing to work with, they lose interest. They start to question themselves instead of controlling you. Silence makes people uncomfortable because it forces them to sit with their own actions. When someone expects a fight but gets nothing, they start to second-guess their approach. They wonder if they went too far. They question whether you are unbothered, indifferent, or simply above their level of negativity. And in that uncertainty, you take back your power. You are no longer the person scrambling to defend yourself. You become the person who cannot be shaken. Reacting emotionally also means you are playing by their rules. If someone disrespects you and you react with anger, they can now label you as aggressive. If you react with sadness, they can see you as weak. But when you do not react at all, they have nothing to work with. They cannot twist your words, they cannot use your emotions against you, and they cannot feel satisfaction in having controlled your state of mind. They are left with nothing but their own negativity, which eventually turns back on them. Most people do not realize how powerful non-reaction is. They think that standing up for themselves always means responding, fighting back, or proving a point. But the truth is, real strength lies in restraint. It lies in knowing when to engage and when to simply walk away. It lies in recognizing that not every battle is worth fighting and that some situations resolve themselves when you refuse to feed them energy. When someone disrespects you, pause before you respond. Ask yourself, do they really deserve my energy? Do they deserve my time? Most of the time, the answer is no. And when you choose to stay silent, you are not ignoring the problem. You are taking control of it. You are choosing peace over conflict, dignity over drama, and strength over the temporary satisfaction of reacting. And in that choice, you win every time. Arguing only drains your energy. When someone disrespects you, your first instinct might be to defend yourself, to fight back, or to prove them wrong. It feels like the right thing to do because you want to stand up for yourself. But what really happens when you argue? You pour your time, your emotions, and your mental energy into a battle that in most cases leads nowhere. The more you engage, the more you invest in a situation that does not deserve your attention, and by the end of it, you are the one left exhausted, frustrated, and emotionally drained. People who disrespect you are not looking for understanding. They are not interested in reason, fairness, or your point of view. They are looking for control. They want to push your buttons, trigger a reaction, and pull you into their negativity. When you argue, you step onto their battlefield, playing by their rules. You might think you are defending yourself, but in reality, you are giving them exactly what they want. Your energy. The more you argue, the more power they have over you, because now instead of focusing on yourself, you are caught up in trying to change their opinion. Not every battle is worth fighting. Some people are committed to misunderstanding you. No matter how clearly you explain yourself, they will twist your words, shift the blame, or refuse to listen. And while you are busy trying to prove your worth, they are simply enjoying the fact that they have your attention. Arguing with these people is like trying to convince a wall to move. No matter how much effort you put in, it will not change. The only person who ends up suffering is you. Your energy is a resource. Every argument you engage in takes away from your ability to focus on what truly matters. Instead of chasing after people who do not respect you, you could be using that time to build yourself up, to focus on your goals, to surround yourself with those who uplift you. Every minute spent arguing with someone who does not value you is a minute you could have spent improving your life. When you shift your focus away from proving yourself and toward bettering yourself, you reclaim your energy and your power. Silence is often the best response. When you refuse to argue, you are not letting the other person win. You are showing them that their opinion does not define you. You are setting a boundary that says, I do not waste my time on people who do not respect me. That kind of confidence is more powerful than any argument. It leaves the other person wondering why you did not react, why their words did not shake you, and in that moment, they realize that they have no control over you. Your peace is more valuable than proving a point. Some battles are best won by simply walking away, not because you are weak, not because you are afraid, but because your energy is too valuable to waste on those who do not deserve it. When you stop arguing and start focusing on yourself, you win every single time. Karma works in silence. When someone disrespects you, the natural reaction is to want justice, to want them to feel the pain they caused, to see them suffer the consequences of their actions. But the truth is, you don't have to do anything for that to happen. Life has a way of balancing things out. Every action carries energy, and the negativity that someone puts into the world eventually finds its way back to them. You don't have to seek revenge or force someone to realize their mistakes. Karma will take care of it in ways you can't even imagine. People who mistreat others don't get away with it forever. It may seem like they do at first, but over time, their behavior catches up with them. They create patterns in their lives, pushing away good people, ruining opportunities, and building a reputation that follows them. Someone who disrespects you today will likely do the same to others, and eventually they will cross the wrong person, lose something valuable, or find themselves alone with no one left to manipulate. It happens not because you made it happen, but because that's the natural consequence of how they treat others. When you react, when you try to make someone pay for what they did, you get stuck in the same negativity they live in. You start wasting your energy on them, thinking about them, letting them occupy space in your mind, and in doing so, you slow down your own progress. But when you choose silence, when you remove yourself from the situation, you free yourself from that toxic cycle. You allow life to handle them while you focus on building something better for yourself. The most powerful thing you can do when someone wrongs you is to move forward without them. Let them sit with their actions. Let them wonder why you're not reacting, why you're not chasing, why you're not seeking revenge. That silence speaks louder than any words ever could. It forces them to reflect, to question themselves, to wonder if they underestimated you. And more often than not, life will put them in a position where they experience exactly what they put you through. Karma does not work on your timeline. It does not operate in ways you can see or control, but it is always working. The best way to ensure that disrespect does not define you is to focus on yourself. Instead of seeking justice, seek growth. Instead of hoping they suffer, build a life where their actions no longer matter. The moment you stop looking back, stop waiting for them to regret, stop wondering when karma will strike, is the moment you truly win. Because by then, you'll realize that their downfall was never your responsibility. Your only responsibility was to rise above them, and in doing so, you let karma do the rest. Your growth is the best response. When someone disrespects you, it's easy to get caught up in proving them wrong, showing them your worth, or seeking revenge. But the truth is, nothing speaks louder than success. Nothing is more powerful than rising above the situation and becoming someone so strong, so confident, and so successful that their words, actions, and opinions no longer matter. Instead of focusing on them, focus on yourself. Instead of wasting energy on negativity, use that energy to build the life you deserve. When you do this, you take back control. You shift the focus from what was done to you to what you are doing for yourself. People who disrespect you expect you to stay stuck. They expect you to be affected, to hold on to the pain, to react emotionally. When you don't, when you grow beyond them, when you move forward without looking back, they are left with nothing. They lose the ability to influence your emotions. They lose the power they thought they had over you. And that is when the regret begins. That is when they start to realize what they lost, not because you told them, but because your success speaks for itself. Focusing on your growth means prioritizing yourself in every way. It means taking care of your mental, emotional, and physical well-being. It means working on your goals, surrounding yourself with people who uplift you, and becoming the kind of person who commands respect without having to demand it. Growth is not about showing off, and it's not about making others feel small. It's about becoming so focused on your own journey that their negativity no longer affects you. It's about living in such a way that you no longer need their validation or approval. One of the greatest truths in life is that people always notice when you outgrow them. The same people who doubted you, who disrespected you, who made you feel small will eventually see your success, and when they do, they will feel the weight of their actions. But by then, you won't even care. By then, you will have built something so strong within yourself that their regret or realization won't matter. You will have already won. Not because they finally see your worth, but because you stop needing them to. The most powerful revenge is no revenge at all. It's simply moving forward, leveling up, and becoming the best version of yourself. It's about choosing to invest in yourself instead of seeking justice. When you put your energy into your own growth, you naturally leave behind those who don't deserve to be in your life. And in doing so, you prove that their disrespect had no lasting effect. You prove that they were never strong enough to hold you back. So instead of looking back, instead of engaging in battles that drain you, make the choice to grow. Because when you do, you win every time. They will realize their mistake. When someone disrespects you in the moment, they may feel powerful. They may think they got away with it, that their words or actions had no consequences. But time has a way of revealing the truth. Eventually, people look back and realize what they lost. They begin to understand the value of what they took for granted, but by the time they do, it's often too late. You don't need to force this realization. You don't need to make them see what they did wrong. Life has a way of teaching people lessons in ways you never could. People rarely appreciate something when they think it will always be there. When you react emotionally, when you argue or beg for respect, you make it easy for them to continue taking you for granted. But when you remove yourself, when you choose silence instead of engagement, they start to notice your absence. They begin to wonder why you stopped fighting, why you stopped proving yourself, why you are no longer affected. And that is when the realization begins to set in. They start to see that you were worth more than the way they treated you. They begin to understand that their behavior pushed away someone valuable. Regret is a powerful force. People who mistreat others often do so because they assume there will be no consequences. But when they find themselves in a situation where they can no longer reach you, where they no longer have access to your energy, they begin to reflect. They compare you to others. They see how different things feel without your presence. They recognize the effort, kindness, and value you brought into their life. And once that realization hits, it lingers. They may not admit it, but they feel it. And in many cases, they wish they could undo what they did. However, by the time they realize their mistake, you will have already moved forward. That is the true power of self-respect. You don't wait around for an apology. You don't waste time hoping they will change. You focus on yourself, on your growth, on becoming stronger and happier without them. And when they finally understand what they lost, it won't matter to you anymore. Because by then, you will have built a life where their opinion, their regret, and their realization no longer have any effect on you. The best thing you can do after being disrespected is not to seek validation from the person who hurt you. It is not to wait for their apology or their regret. It is to move forward so powerfully that their mistake becomes their burden, not yours. Let them realize what they lost. Let them feel the absence of your presence. But don't wait for it. Because when you focus on yourself, when you walk away with dignity and strength, their regret becomes irrelevant. The real victory is not in their realization. It is in your ability to move forward without needing it. Respect yourself enough to walk away. When someone disrespects you, it can be tempting to argue, to explain yourself, to try to make them see your worth. But real self-respect means understanding that you don't have to convince anyone of your value. It means knowing when to stop giving energy to situations that drain you. Walking away is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength. It shows that you refuse to entertain disrespect, that you know your worth, and that you are willing to protect your peace. Many people stay in situations longer than they should because they fear what will happen if they leave. They think if they argue enough, explain enough, or fight hard enough, the other person will finally change. But that rarely happens. More often, the longer you stay, the more they take you for granted. The more you try to prove yourself, the more power you give them over your emotions. But when you walk away, you send a powerful message that you are not dependent on their approval, that you do not tolerate disrespect, and that you choose yourself over their negativity. Walking away does not mean you don't care. It does not mean you are running from problems. It means you are choosing to invest your energy where it is appreciated, not where it is wasted. It means you are setting a boundary that says, I respect myself too much to stay where I am not valued. And when you do that, you shift the power back to yourself. You are no longer reacting to their behavior. You are making a decision based on your own self-worth. The people who disrespect you will often expect you to stay. They will assume that you need their validation, that you will always be there no matter how they treat you. But when you walk away, you break that cycle. You force them to realize that you were a choice, not an obligation. And sometimes that is the only way they will ever understand your value. But by the time they do, you will have already moved on to something better. Self-respect is about knowing when to stop explaining, when to stop proving, and when to stop trying to fix something that is not worth fixing. It is about realizing that you deserve to be surrounded by people who uplift you, not those who bring you down. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply leave, not with anger, not with bitterness, but with quiet confidence, knowing that you are choosing yourself. Walking away is not about them, it is about you. It is about protecting your peace, your energy, and your future. It is about refusing to let someone else's negativity dictate your self-worth. And when you make that choice, you do not lose anything. you gain everything. Because the moment you respect yourself enough to leave a situation that no longer serves you, you open the door to something far greater. The most powerful response to disrespect is not anger, not revenge, and not endless arguments. It is silence, growth, and walking away with self-respect. When someone disrespects you, they expect a reaction. They want control over your emotions, but when you stay quiet, when you refuse to engage, you shift the power back to yourself. You show them that their words and actions do not define you. Karma has a way of balancing things. People who mistreat others eventually face the consequences of their actions. They lose good people, they ruin opportunities, and they find themselves in situations where they experience the very pain they once caused. You do not have to make it happen. Life will take care of it. Your only responsibility is to rise above, to focus on yourself, and to build a life where their negativity no longer matters. The best revenge is no revenge at all. It is success, happiness, and becoming the best version of yourself. It is proving, not to them, but to yourself, that their disrespect had no power over your future. Let them realize their mistakes on their own. Let them feel the absence of your presence. But don't wait for it, because by then you will have already moved forward stronger than ever, unbothered and unstoppable.